Hello everyone, this is Tommy, aka Knowledge, and welcome to part 4 of my beginner's guide to Smite 2. Today, we're going to be jumping into our first real player game, so it is going to be human player versus human player in an arena game today. But also, before we get into that game, I wanted to go over some miscellaneous items. Not like game items that you buy in the item shop, but like the shop, the wandering market, events, and other things in this game that you can interact with to show progression or get cool things that you can show off in game and whatnot. Okay. So first off, if you look at the main screen here to your game, you're going to see in the top right hand corner you have like this coin icon and you have this diamond icon. Okay. So these coins here are called wandering market coins. And these diamonds here are diamonds, which are the premium currency for the game. Okay. So if you hit the plus button, it shows you that you can buy diamonds for some amount of money. If you are coming in from Smite 1 and you link your account, you should also see a green icon up here for what are called legacy gems. Okay. So if you bought and used premium currency in Smite 1, some of that currency carries over to this game that you can then use on skins and other purchases in the game. Okay, so that's a pretty cool feature. It was nice of Hi-Rez to do that, and so you have some extra currency that you can use there. That way you don't have to spend as much money on diamonds for certain things. If you look over here on the left-hand side, you see you have quests. These quests, what they allow you to do is that they can give you account XP, but they can also give you wandering market coins. Okay, so if we go over to season, this brings up the wandering market page. Okay. So what the wandering market is that there's a bunch of collections and chests and things you can buy. Okay. So each one, so let's go to the travelers first. Okay. These are the most common. There's a bunch of these. Okay. And you can purchase them with diamonds, and then inside of them, you can use your wandering market coins to buy the various different skins and items that are in here. Okay. So some of these have a varying amount of items, but almost all of them come with some sort of skin. And then they come with what are called prisms, which are like recolors of the skin. And then usually they have some sort of extra stuff with them, be it like recall skins, announcer packs. Some of them have ward skins. Some of them even have chests. Some of them have trackers. So there's a bunch of different stuff in here. It's completely up to you if you want to buy these or not. If one goes along with your favorite character or whatever, feel free to pick one up. And occasionally these go on sale and whatnot, so that's something to keep in mind. There's also collections, which are like bigger traveler packs that have a lot more items, and they have like multiple pages worth of stuff, and they even have some diamonds in here. So those are something you can pick up. So far, there's only 2 sagas in the game, and I think that these are personally really cool. I really enjoyed them. I don't know what you thought of them, but of course they're not unlocked because I'm not on my primary account. But I did get these on my primary account, where you get a skin on the first page, and then you keep getting like upgraded versions of that skin until you get to the final version, which has a bunch of prisms that go along with it. Okay, and there's like the first one right here you can see is like pretty basic. But by the time you get to the last one, you can see it has a lot more effects and looks a lot cooler. Okay. So far, there's only 2 of these. There's one for Vulcan and there's one for Artemis. But I think that these are really cool, personally. So I don't know if again, you can agree or disagree with me, but I personally think they're pretty cool. The other part to this is that there's something called the Wandering Path. Okay. So if you look down here at the bottom, there is a progression bar. Okay, and as you progress through this, you can get diamonds and you can get wandering market coins. Okay, but you can also open up chests and you can get god tokens. Okay, so some of these chests reset every week. One of these chests resets every 4 weeks, and these are worth opening. If you go to view drop chance, you can get chances. So from this main daily chest, I should specify, from this main daily chest, you can get different skins. You can earn diamonds, you can earn legacy gems, you can earn badges, you can earn Ascension Pass tokens. I think you can also get God tokens out of this. You can get music themes. You can get all sorts of interesting items out of this. You can get account boosters. So these are definitely worth opening every day if if you can. Sometimes it might just be worth just logging on and quickly picking it up. Okay, so there you go. I got 400 legacy gems, so you can now see the green icon up there that I have now some legacy gems. Let's pick up our god token. Oh wait, can we not? Wait, what? Oh, this costs me wandering market coins. Oh, interesting. Okay, I did not know that. On my primary account, I have all the gods unlocked, so I don't actually get these. Looks like you can convert legacy gems to market coins. I did not know that. Okay, well, that's something new I just discovered. So that's something for you to take note of. Oh, okay. Oh, so these do all cost wandering market coins. Okay, so again, sometimes I learn new things as well. So I guess if you're a new player, keep that in mind. These do cost wandering market coins. On my primary account, I've got so many coins that this is never an issue when I try to buy these chests. But if you're just starting out to the game or you don't play very often, this might be a hindrance for you. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay. So let me go over to profile and go to profile loadout. So in the profile loadout, a bunch of those things from the wandering market chests you can change in here. Okay. So one of the things you can change is your profile icon. As you can see up here, we don't have an icon right now, and I don't think we have any icons unlocked right now, so that's totally fine. There's also banners, so I'm gonna equip that that you can unlock. If you click on them, they'll tell you usually where they come from. So if you're curious, if you find one that you really like and you want to go for it, it can tell you how to get it. There's different emotes that you can use. There's different music packs. You can change the coloring of your name. This does appear in game, by the way. Your profile icon doesn't appear in game, but this like name color changing does appear in game. There's different word skins. There's different like quips that you can use. There's different announcer packs, so like your narrator in game can change. Your teleporter effect. You haven't seen the teleporter yet, so this doesn't mean a whole lot to you if you've been watching my series so far. There's recall skins that you can change, and then there are kill effects that you can also change. Okay, so that's some of the customization options that's account wide for you. Other important things in this tab are your match history, so you can check in to see if you've been winning most of your games or if you've been losing most of your games and how you've been doing. You can even click into here and it'll show you the stat screen. Okay, it doesn't show you the items or the builds, but it does show you your stats for the match. So that's pretty cool. If you we'll discuss rank later, but this is where you can check your rank progress, and then there's leaderboards. I don't think that leaderboards are actually functional right now. I don't think these actually like work, but they're there. You can also see how much XP you need to get to the next level, and you can see how many god tokens, skin tokens, and Ascension Pass tokens you also have here. Another thing that exists in the game is events. So occasionally there'll be an event that pops up. Like we just got done with the holiday season, so there was like a Christmas event. And right now we're on a Pantheon event. So these vary wildly, but they usually come with some sort of cosmetic or skin that you can earn and use if you so choose. Last thing I want to mention is that there's also the store. And so you can buy skins out of here. You can also buy different chests that contain different collections of items. And then you can get an account booster, which like boosts your worshiper and wandering market XP and your account XP. There's a supporter store. And so the big thing I want to talk about real quick is the Founders Edition. So if you're playing the game and you decide that you really like Smite and you're a big fan, what you can do is you can come in here and you can spend some real money. Of course, completely up to you. I'm not saying that anybody needs to spend money on this game. It is a free-to-play game, and everything in this game, for the most part, everything in the game, for the most part, you can acquire with enough time and effort. The skins do kind of cost a little bit of diamonds, so it can take a while to get there, but theoretically, if you waited long enough, you could get the diamonds for free and buy it that way. But the cool part about the Founders editions is that they can get you, well, I consider some pretty good value. So its lowest tier 1 is $30. What it does is it unlocks all the gods in the game and every god that will be added to the game for however long Smite 2 exists. Okay? So if you're, really like playing different characters and you're excited about that, this is definitely a good pickup. Okay, it also gives you some diamonds, and it also increases the amount of legacy gems that if you're coming over from Smite 1, you can get extra legacy gems that way as well. Okay. Now there's a couple more tiers. Okay. that allow you to unlock some other cosmetics. And if you get the highest tier 1, you get all the ascension passes for the gods. So if we go back over here to Neath and you go to mastery, usually this costs you diamonds to do your ascension pass. And getting your ascension pass also gives you a worshiper boost on the god, and some of these tiers are locked, so you get the rewards from that. On my primary account, which I promise you I'll show you that someday, you can get all the ascension passes, all the gods, and a few cosmetics unlocked forever. Okay. And so I mean, again, right, I play this game a lot, so I got the highest tier 1, which, you know, fit well for me. But again, you don't have to spend money in this game. If you're just getting into it, right, don't be worrying about spending money or whatever. That's just an option to you if you really start liking the game. There is one tip that I want to say before we get into our first player versus player arena match, is that most players in this game, when they're first starting out, tend to stick to a few different characters, okay? So what I would recommend to most players is that as you're learning the game and you're gaining experience here when you're brand new, is that you stick to the same 2 or 3 gods, okay? So I would recommend before, you know, after you get in a couple of quick play games, even a few player versus player games, you come in here and you start clicking through the gods. Not only will this help you learn what different gods do when you're playing against them, but you can experiment with them and figure out which gods you really like. Okay, so for some people, if you're a huge fan of like Marvel movies, for example, you might really like Loki and Thor, for example. Okay, or you might be really into Greek mythology, so you like a lot of the Greek gods. Okay, or maybe you're like a huge Percy Jackson fan, and so you really like the Greek gods as well. Okay, or maybe you're a big fan of Egyptian mythology, so you really like the Egyptian gods. Okay, but I would pick 2 or like 3 of those gods ideally, and those are kind of going to be the gods that you learn the core game through. Okay, it doesn't have to be necessarily like the new player friendly gods that they recommend per se. It can be if you want, and that's, you know, possibly a discussion for another day, which gods are good for new players. But that is something that I think is important. And the best part is that in jungle practice, you can use gods that you haven't unlocked yet. So if I go to enter practice here on Uller, Uller is definitely a god I would not recommend to new players because he's one of the most mechanically and complex gods in the game. But what you can do is, hang on, my controller isn't working, so we're gonna use the keyboard here for a second. And so you can go into here and you can use different abilities to see how they work and see if you like the god or not. So that's pretty cool system. Okay, so we're going to go to Classic and we're going to go to Arena and we're going to queue up. Okay, so this is going to be our first player versus player arena game. Ideally, the matchmaker should pair us with some other new players, but I don't know how many new players are currently playing the game right now, so we'll see what the skill discrepancy kind of looks like. Okay, I found it. Yeah, usually arena queues are pretty fast. They don't take very long. So we'll get into the god selection screen, and we'll take a look at what's going on here. So you can see now that the names look a lot more like human names and not bot names. And so you've got a few seconds to pick your god here, right? If there's a god that you want to play really badly for whatever reason, you want to try to lock in right away. Otherwise, you can wait to see what your teammates pick. So that way, if all of your teammates go damage, you can maybe play a more tanky character and, you know, help balance out your team a little bit. Of course, when you're new, you're not necessarily going to know which gods synergize very well together or whatnot. So you're kind of just playing whatever feels or sounds good. So let's see here. Who do I want to play? I think. Why don't we give... we'll play Bacchus, because everybody else on my team is a damage dealer. And so this little icon here means that they have an account booster active. So if other players in your team have an account booster, they do actually give you some buffs as well, which is nice. And then here, so again, we're loading in. You can see that different people have different mastery on their gods. Again, in Arena, it's not super important. You can see what skins people are using. And so, okay, so we loaded into the game. Right now, I do have auto buy and auto skill off, just for reference. So again, if you're new, you can still keep using those. But I'm going to use manual control just to show what I want to do here. And let's go over here. Do that. Okay. And so we'll level our abilities. And I always like to hit back on this here, see what people are running aspects, see what the damage types are of the other team, as that'll be relevant for later on in the game. Like right now, when I hold back, I see that the enemy team has 4 magical gods. So that means I'm going to want to focus on magical protections as a tanky character more during the game than I otherwise normally would. And then I think... Okay, oh, yep, there's their team. Okay, we'll get our ult up. Oh, there's a Hades ult. Nice. That's a good kill. Okay, so we're gonna hop out. Go heal. Also, as you notice, you can just go back to the base whenever, and you can then go to your items. There's not like a progress bar like there was in quick play where you had to get to a certain amount of gold before you got item options. You're just backing whenever it's convenient. Okay, nice kill there by the team. Right, so right here, I'm just kind of... I don't want to go in, right? There's a lot of enemy teams. I'm kind of seeing what my teammates do, see if anybody on the enemy team makes a mistake. Just like that, they dashed in. So, his mobility is down. Okay, my teammates didn't really follow me in there, which, you know, sometimes is going to happen as a frontline tanky character. Your teammates aren't necessarily going to... not necessarily going to help you out here. Okay. I think we want to level the 1 here. Okay, so in Prophetic, that's tends to be a decent first item for most tanky characters. Next, we're going to go to Genji's here. Again, they have a lot of magical damage, so I'm going to build some magical protections early. Genji's is a very good cooldown-based magical defense item. So we're going to pick that up. Let's see, our team's doing pretty well here. Right now, we're in the lead, so that's good. We're just kind of watching out. Our Neath was up below with Flar, so we want to make sure she doesn't get jumped on. An enemy has left the game. Okay, yep, sometimes that happens. Sometimes people disconnect. This is also the day after a patch for reference. So every 2 weeks right now, Smite 2 gets patched where like the items and the gods change a little bit in terms of their damage. And new gods are added. So sometimes after a patch, the game's a little bit buggy and people can be disconnecting. Of course, sometimes people just leave the game and they rage quit and whatnot. That'll happen in your games, and that's something you'll have to get used to, unfortunately, but that is just the way that it works. Okay, so as you can see, we got the big minions in the middle. Yeah, there's not really going to be able to push that, so that dodge is in trouble. Yeah. Maybe could have tried to hit her with the shell, but I don't think I had the range for that, so... Okay. Oh, I might die to this. I'm gonna shell? Okay, no, never mind. It wouldn't have done enough damage to kill me, but... That's one of the relics I'm wearing too, by the way. It's called Phantom Shell. It gives you a temporary health shield, but it also allows you to pass through player-made walls. So like an Odin Alt or a Ymir wall, you can pass through if you activate that relic for a short amount of time. So that is something to keep in mind. It's a very good support relic. So, oh, I completely missed that. Alright, I'm getting burst down in there by 3 people. Let's turn around. So this is definitely, as you have probably seen, definitely quite different than a PvP, than an AI game. The players tend to be a little bit better and act differently, which is good. You want to get experience playing against actual humans. That's what you want. Also, like in the middle of the game, right? I'm hitting back here, right? I want to see what's the enemy team building, right? Are they building like, right? You got a Kinsblade, right? So going max health is probably not going to be very helpful to me for as something that I want a lot of in this match, right? Some health is always like some health is always fine, and it tends to be a secondary stat on a lot of items. But going the primary stat when they have an item that's going to counter that strategy is usually not a good idea. Okay, so it looks like the enemy team is kind of back there. We're trying to push up our minions into the portal, but it's pretty hard to get a push there. To push minions into the enemy portal without them doing something about it. Okay, that's gonna be an ult. I don't have my shell up, so a good thing the dodgy didn't die. Oh my gosh, the dodgy went over Artemis Trap and almost died. That would have been tragic. Go. Well, that's a lot of attack speed by that Artemis, but she's got a Odysseus's bow, which is a very high attack speed item. But it's also one of those things that's like, okay, you hear a lot of auto attacks going off, but you're not actually taking a ton of damage. So it's like you don't need to panic. Right, okay, we're gonna kill their siege minion there. That's good. Maybe we might be able to make a play to get ours in. Looks like their Kukulon did come back, so we're gonna get in the Artemis's face here. Okay, she decided to Aegis. So Aegis, what it does is it just makes the player temporarily unable to do damage, but you can't use abilities. So there's a heavy trade-off there. So there's no point in hitting them when they have their Aegis up or Aegis active, because you're just not gonna do any damage to them. Oops. Didn't mean to move there. So yeah, if you move right when you're trying to recall, it's gonna cancel that. So you keep that in mind. So we got to level 15. So this starter can be upgraded to level 15. So we're gonna pick that up. We also have like a ton of gold. So we're gonna go. So we're gonna go a little bit of physical protection. There we go. Because they do have an Artemis, and she's a damage-based character and can output a lot of damage. And they do have a little bit of critical chance. It looks like she might be going crit, so we're gonna pick up a Spectral, just to be safe there. Oh gosh, I'm taking a ton of damage. I guess it was just the dodgy and I going deep there, so I guess that kind of tracks. Oh, the Nuwa was there too. The Nuwa might be in some struggle though. I might actually be able to kill this guy. Oh no, he also, that's unfortunate. Oh, shell there. Okay, I don't know why it didn't use his... So when the Hades is in his ult, he can like dash and or like do a ground attack that'll do a bunch of damage to you. I don't know why he didn't use that. But I guess that was good for us. So... Okay, that was an agility relic there by the Nuwa to get away from my jump. Alright, oh, right there's my Nuwa. Oh, yep, sorry, yep. Couldn't get there to save her, unfortunately. You're not really gonna know if your teammates are, you know, building correctly or whatnot, so I wouldn't worry about that. You can see that the RDO is doing something weird. She doesn't have a relic, she doesn't have a starter, right? So I'm gonna assume that she's a new player. And so that is something to keep an eye on. The other thing to notice is that you have like passive regold generation in Arena. That number is quite high, so that's why we're able to build items so quickly. Okay, we got the stun off on that guy. That's big. You can body block people. Like, people can't walk through you, so if you get in their way when they're trying to run away, that'll do something. You can also see as we clear minions, we get gold and we get XP. You might see the gold and the blue numbers coming on up on our screen there. But compared to the passive gold regeneration that we just get by being in an arena game, and XP, you get both gold and XP passively in arena. It's not very significant. So the main reason why you clear minions is to reduce that ticket amount. And right now, and we're also quite a bit ahead in kills. We're up 23-7, so we're sitting in a very good position here to win this game. I do kind of want to jump on somebody, but okay, yeah, that was like, he was definitely gonna ult us. He's not doing a ton of damage, so no need to shell there. Okay, now maybe shell. Oh, okay, our Canunos almost died there. That was close. I'm gonna jump on the Artemis here. Okay, cool. That was a good job by our team there. We jumped in, they were on her, so we got a nice kill. We also haven't died yet, so that's also quite big. You know, where do I want to go here? We don't have any active items. Maybe I should show off an active item. Yeah, we'll go Nemean here. So what Nemean does is it reflects some damage that you take back to the attacker for a little bit of time. So that can be a good item if you are trying to get bursted down by somebody to reflect a bunch of damage back at them. And usually people aren't expecting that, so nice. Good job, team. Alright, that's an Artemis ult, so we're gonna move away from this here for a second. Okay, the Carnunos got the kill anyway, so that's big. Or actually, we actually push him. No, we didn't push him in. Yeah, Kukulon has very good wave clear. Okay. Dodgy maybe went in a little bit too aggressively there. If you see what the Carnunos pop-ups were there on the left-hand side, that's called BGS. We'll talk about that more in a later video, but that's a good way to communicate with your team. I'm gonna leap in here. Yep, hit her with a knock-up, hit her with a stun. We'll let the Dodgy get that kill. I got like a 3,000 gold here, but we're kind of just like able to run at them. I kind of want to see if we can push this wave in, so I'm gonna jump on these guys. Oh, okay, we won. We pushed some minions in, so we got the W. So that is our first player versus player game there in Arena. I mean, my teammates did very well. I think that, you know, the other team maybe had had a few new players who maybe didn't quite know the best builds or whatnot, which is fine. Arena, it's just a fun game mode, and you kind of just fight the other team and you see what happens. So you can see that our Nuwa did a majority of the damage on our team, but you can see that we had the top damage mitigated and we almost had the most damage take. Oh wow, the Dodger took a lot of damage. Okay, well, we also didn't die, so we were able to stay alive. And because we were going tanky, right, you saw we were getting off knockouts, we were getting off stuns, and that was helping our team. So with that being said, it looks like oh, okay, we got some market coins and we got some god tokens. Okay, yeah, we leveled up a couple of times, so that was quite big. What I'm gonna call it here though, this was part 4. We did our first player versus player arena game. I also went over the shop and customization on your profile and how you can unlock every god in the game if you so choose. So just something to think about, right, is that as you play the game, and if you really like it and maybe want to spend some money on it, that is completely up to you though. And like I said, you know, if you have a particular god or group of gods that you really like, you know, that can be a good way to, you know, develop some consistency in the game, and, you know, picking 2 or 3 gods to constantly play as you're getting started, just to have some consistency and make sure that you're enjoying the game, is something that I would highly recommend. For me personally, my most played god is Artemis on my primary account. I don't remember exactly how I ended up playing Artemis as like my main god. In Smite 1, she was one of the starter gods, and so I think I liked the auto attack play, and that's what I went with. But for you, again, it could be any of these characters. Okay, and there's also characters being added every couple of weeks. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. If you're a new player, I hope you learned something valuable. If you're a more experienced player and you think I said something incorrect, feel free to leave a comment. If you have any tips for new players, feel free to leave those down in a comment as well. If you are a new player and you have any questions, leave a comment as well. And I will see you in part 5.